is, man, the offense getting no love. That's amazing. People have more faith in the defense, 59%, if I'm reading that right, than they do the offense. And coaching is second to the defense. Who would have said that at Tennessee 2 years ago, or when Josh Heupel was hired? That's amazing. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at the UT offensive line so far. That's what they did against Chattanooga, NC State, Kent State, Oklahoma. 151 yards rushing, just 2.9 yards per carry last night. 3 sacks allowed. Daniel,
yes, sir.
Tennessee's O-line was a concern coming into the season, 4 games into the season. Is it a bigger concern?
Yeah, it's definitely on the radar, and as Josh Ward said, like, we're alerted to the problems right now. And I think about Tennessee's offensive line with Cade Mays when he went out, how much the yards per carry changed, and I'm not above a 4 right now because I think it's only going to hurt you against Alabama and Georgia. I think you still have better talent than the other teams you're going to play, but it's up there, especially with the turnovers on the sack fumbles all from your backup tackle.
It's a concern.
It's a concern.
Yeah, Sterling.
Well, as a quarterback, it's always a concern because you want that to be the strongest part of the team. But this is where I'm at with the offensive line. I'm not as concerned as much as their players. They're getting respected by these refs. Some of these calls are imaginary, John P. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. That's how I feel about it, is what I saw. That one big play to Thornton, that was a 50-yard play. He can let that. That wasn't a hold to me, and a lot of my friends feel the same way. One guy who was offensive lineman feels that wasn't a hold.
So a lot of former Tennessee players and fans
absolutely.
Didn't like so did they make the same bad calls against Oklahoma, or was it just on Tennessee?
No, just always on Tennessee.
Yeah, there we go. Let me ask you this very quickly on the offensive line thing. A lot of people were texting me, Nico's got to learn to protect the ball. What's Nico doing? As a quarterback, you're going to tell me always take care of the ball. However, you're in the pocket. Strip sack, they happen. It's hard for me to put that on that quarterback, especially a rookie, which is basically what he is.
Well, it's first of all, the ability to strip sack a ball from a quarterback is being taught now. Back when I played, it wasn't much taught. It was just seen by Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
Okay, so now it's being taught. And with all of the things, the nuances that secondaries and linebackers are doing out there, you're real busy in that little 3 seconds. And had he gotten that one off, it might have been a touchdown, and the receiver was pulling away. So, it's harder to do. You might want to buy a couple extra pizzas for your linemen to make sure they get an extra.
But how much blame? I mean, again, buck stops with you. I get that part of it, but give me the reality. You're not a quarterback. How much of the blame is on him for the strip sack, and how much of that is, man, that's tough. And you're in there and you don't see it coming from behind.
It's always the man with the ball's fault.
Okay.
Always.
He's going to give me that. I knew what it was going to be.
That's all I can say.
Okay. Josh. Lance Hurd's out. Then John Campbell gets out. They're moving Davis around, as Daniel pointed out. Johnson comes in. How big are the injuries a concern for you? Because it's one thing to worry about this offensive line coming into the season. Now, you got an open date coming up, but if you're this shaky with your depth, this makes this more of a concern than it was coming into the year for me with the offensive line. You more concerned or about the same?
It was probably my biggest concern entering because it was already kind of a question. Like John Campbell Jr. was held out a lot during fall camp because they wanted to make sure they did everything to get him ready. He came out during the NC State game. So we kind of knew going in, hey, if Lance Hurd's not available, there's a chance they need to use both tackles at some point. And that ended up being the case. And then I think Josh Heupel kind of answered the question for us with the way he approached the rest of the game. His play calling, part of that has to be affected by his confidence in the tackle play. I still say the guy that would be most difficult to replace is Cooper May. So if they have him, I'm going to feel okay about the offensive line. I also say this probably isn't a Tennessee issue. Like if you look across college football, you're probably you're not going to find many teams that feel good if they have to go to tackles 3 and 4.
Right.
But Tennessee fans aren't worried about other schools; they're worried about Tennessee. So they need Hurd back healthy. He still has to prove a lot. He hasn't played that much, by the way. But yeah, they need him, and Campbell's a guy I think to monitor all season long.
Well, to underscore how Tennessee fans worry about Tennessee people, have we mentioned all of the injuries on Oklahoma's line in the show? We haven't really.
I don't think UT fans were feeling bad as soon as they're walking back to the locker room.
Those were pretty. That was a beat up Oklahoma team. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't change the fact you went in there and won. Thank you guys very much. When we come back, what last night's win meant for the Vols' playoff chances. Are they a lock now? As long as you go 2 losses the rest of the way and they're in Alabama, Georgia, you're in? We'll discuss. Coming back.